seen the mug and the takeaway cup.
Yeah, there it is. That's how
Just
we wanted
on
it.
the screen.
This is
That's how we
vegware,
wanted it.
which I think
That's probably
means
recycled as well.
it's been made out of recycled like carrots.
Yeah.
But like you can't.
It's been made out of carrots.
That's
Completely compostable. Not good enough for Daniel.
It would have been okay if I
Not
was
good
not
enough
gonna
for
just
Daniel
throw it
Muggleton.
away. Not good enough.
But like most people don't compost. All right, I'm not gonna keep digging this hole. I'm just gonna.
We're recording, by the way, so we're in. So when you're
Pardon?
ready, we're in when you're ready.
Good. This is because like the audio bit, I keep like the kind of longer form, so the audio people are gonna be like, "Fucking Dan, of course."
I have a theory that
He's a
you're
tyrant.
gaslighting me.
Gaslighting you.
Yeah.
I actually.
Because, all right, let's just go over the last time we were together. I go on stage. Daniel goes, dude, I took an Instagram photo of you. You really turned that gig around. Not 45 minutes later, he's yelling at me when I get off stage that we're going to miss our train. Which we weren't going to miss at all. Yelling at me. Yelling, like, in my face. Like, I'm mad at you.
Do I ever see
Then,
like I've yelled at anyone?
And he buys me cereal on the way home.
Because it was a callback to a bit he did because I felt bad about the train.
So I'm like, I told my girlfriend, I go, this guy Daniel Muggleton, like, I like him, but like, I don't fucking get it, man. Like, I don't really get what our deal is. Like, every time I'm with him, he does something that I'm just like, what?
That's not
so
true.
then, like, just now for you out there, and you, and by the way, you listeners, you take and do with this what you want. I go to order a coffee, and I go, the guy goes, do you want it in a takeaway cup? In a 100% vegetable, completely compostable takeaway cup that's been recycled from other substances. And Daniel steps in and says, no, he'll get a glass.
A mug.
He'll get a mug.
I didn't want you to drink it in inappropriate.
So,
Like
and I
that.
mean, dude, I am like Greta Thunberg all the way,
I just want
but
to point out that that's not like being kind to someone, then being mean to them, then being kind again. I don't think is gaslighting. It's a bit abusive.
well, I guess you wouldn't because you're in it
emotionally.
together.
But not gaslighting. He did gaslight you
Co-conspirators.
when you gave your version of events, and he goes, "That's not true. That's gaslighting."
Oh,
I actually
okay.
don't know
So what you're doing
gaslighting
is blaming the victim.
Yeah.
we're
Gaslighting
clear.
is denying somebody's reality. So if he says,
Isn't that
"I
what
feel
that
like
is?
you're,"
Can you
doing
not
right,"
help
yeah.
yourself though? Like, do you get a little bit like?
Pardon?
Are you like a bit like
All
anal or something or what?
No, like all I did was like jump in there and
up
then
your ass.
feel nothing but shame. Like since like it was just a reflex. I'm like, no, he doesn't realize that we're going next door. We can get the
Oh,
thing because you want to drink out of a mug. And
I
then
did.
and then now
Anyway,
I'm like,
man.
Oh.
And he forgot to jump in for me. Now
I didn't know that you were. I didn't see your order. I was like, "Has Maria ordered?" And the guy's like, "Yeah." And then he brought over the cup. And
But the
I was
guy
like,
knew how passionate you were about that mug. He should have known to just
Oh no, that guy was cool because he said to me when you left, he goes, "You want to take away cup?"
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, you had no one backing you
That
up,
fucking
Daniel.
guy.
That's sad.
Yeah.
I give him 3 coffee orders weekly.
He's on
Like,
my
this
side.
This guy should
He's
have
on
my
my
back.
team.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Union Jackoff. I like to start now with a bit of hate. You know, it's kind of like last week.
No,
on the
I get
Union
you now. We're
Jackoff.
friends, man. We're friends.
We're good. Well, guys, please welcome my 2 guests from America, from the beautiful America. We've got Russell Hicks
Hey.
and Maria Shehata.
Hello.
Guys, there we go. Finally, we've had like these British guests on to be like, "Hey, welcome," and they've just gonna be like, "Hello." Like there's like been no enthusiasm at all, no
Americans
warmth.
are friendly.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys have like the worst PR team ever. I'm a big fan of Americans. I buy all your albums. I like it. I'm keen American.
Why
dude.
are you a fan of Americans?
You're friendly people. Like you're excited when people visit. You want to tell them about how good shit is. And when you travel, you're hilariously dumb. That's nice.
Oh wow.
that was
Well,
a-
there's another example of the Daniel Muggleton gaslighting technique.
It's technically not gaslighting.
Set them up and victim blaming.
I think it's a real definitional issue with you. You're like, that's not gaslighting. I mean, he's
I mean,
being
I
a
want to
jerk.
protect the term gaslighting because it is such a big deal and such a problem. Like, I don't want people just
It
throwing
really
it
is.
around like the word cuck. You know, it's just like everybody's a cuck now, but it has a very specific.
I've actually never heard anyone called like who uses that?
I never heard anyone
it's
call
like an
internet
someone
thing,
a
isn't
cuck
it?
like in life. Like I've never
Yeah.
seen like I've never heard it like that's the first time anyone's ever said cuck in my
Really?
presence. I've read cuck. I've read cuck plenty, but
Yeah.
said no.
I mean, it's actually kind of, I mean, it's short for cuckold, which is like kind of an interesting. Like, I'm surprised. It's a bit of an intelligent phrase.
I think it was a bad example then. Because I thought everyone just used cuck for everything, just like it just replaced. Are we swearing on this podcast?
Yeah.
Pussy. It just replaced.
Pussy. Dude, the show is called The Union Jackoff.
Oh right, that's right.
I would like it if it was like, no, this is a clean show.
But like, I like that you said like, can we swear? And you said pussy. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's not even a swear word.
Isn't it?
No.
Of course it is. It's a
Yeah,
dirty word.
it's not really accepted over here. I think you can say pussy in America a little bit, but here it's considered like derogatory.
Oh, I feel like it's so like the word is so like. Ugh.
Yeah, it's a
Like
bit
cringe.
Pussy's
Yeah.
a little
Cringy word.
outdated now.
Like pussy, what is in like?
Because it's turned into cuck.
It's turned into cuck. Oh right, like you're calling someone a pussy now.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. Okay, you'd be
You
like,
wouldn't
oh,
say you pussy.
cuck.
You'd be like, you're such a cuck.
I mean, that's very up to date. Like, I don't know.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here to bring everyone else up to date.
I mean,
up
I
to
think
speed
so.
with
You got the definitions and everything. As an Australian, I got.
Well, when do
nothing.
you
I'm
really
playing
need to
catch up.
use pussy? Really, it's never really in
You
a
got-
good situation. It's like either that guy is a pussy. I like pussy. No, but that's weird.
What if you say I like pussy?
Two guys in a. Have you ever been around other men and one of them uses pussy? The word it's just weird. You're
I
like,
think
ugh.
I probably have. This is making me feel very
It's such a
subconscious
weird thing,
about
like-
my diction.
Hey guy, look pussy. Like, whoa, what are you doing?
being real judgmental about that word pussy.
Who, me?
Yeah. People.
You're the one that just said we can't use pussy anymore.
I think that's good.
Is the whole podcast gone fucking crazy? Anyway, we like you. That's the point I was gonna say about
Yeah.
Australians. Americans like Australians.
I
Really?
don't. I don't
Yeah.
like your accent.
You don't like my accent. My
Not
one
your
specifically.
particular, but yours
Oh,
is all right.
Thank you. That's
But
sweet.
most
Mine's not
Aus-
very strong.
Yeah, I think that's what I like about it.
So you're like, I like your Australian accent because it's not very Australian.
Yeah, I can't explain to you why. It's just like that whole like Crocodile Dundee accent.
Yeah, I mean that's atrocious. Like that's
Yeah.
awful. Like I'm with you 100%. But do you rate it like the real strong? Like, hey mate, how you going? Like that.
Yeah.
Really?
You like it?
Yeah, I like it. I don't like want to like listen to it as ambient music while I go to sleep, but like it's fine. I don't really mind it. I like a lot of accents. I like the Yorkshire accent.
Yorkshire's good. I
It's
like
a good
that.
accent.
Yeah, that's a fun
I told a
one.
girl, I was like, I like your accent. It's nice. And she was like, night out. And I was like, well, yeah, it's like, I don't know, like, because everybody in England shits on it, but I quite like it. It's cool.
But
I like the
Birmingham-
Essex accent.
Birmingham's the most made fun of, right? Like everyone's like the Brummie accent is
Yeah.
like that's
But
the bottom of the
whatever,
barrel.
that one, they're all good.
I don't mind. Yeah, Scottish is good. I think I really like Scottish.
I like the Scottish accent. I like.
Yeah.
There isn't a lot of accents
There's
I-
Glasgow and then there's Edinburgh, isn't there? They're two
Yeah,
very,
yeah,
very
yeah.
different.
I like
like 'em all.
Glasgow one.
All right, Glasgow, and then like, but also like female Glasgow. I don't even know why, but I
Yeah,
think I prefer
yeah.
that.
It sounds like they'll just grab your balls and rip them off.
I mean, that's not really what I'm into. I don't know. You've been checking my browser
Yeah,
history.
actually.
but no, not a lot of
You actually
fucking cuck.
you actually can't say balls anymore.
You can't say
I can't
balls.
say balls.
No, like
Shit. All right. Would you say like America's like the most kind of PC'd of any of the world's countries?
I think
Just to go right turn on this? Why not?
I think that is like the dumbest question ever.
Really?
What does
is
that
that?
even mean? Like we're the most PC? What is this? What is the idea of like this whole idea that there's like PC anyway?
I mean, like,
I don't know.
I mean, in terms of like the kind of way that it's represented as like PC, you can't say that anymore. Like, I think America's the most like you can't say that anymore. Of,
I
like,
mean,
any-
you
of
just
any
got to go to the
country.
right states.
Right. Well, that's what I've been to, I guess.
You know
Like,
what I
that's-
mean?
That's what
Like,
I've seen. I've been
Um,
like New York, LA, Boston, Chicago, like San Francisco.
I've always been told that Americans care more about race than anyone else. Like when I first came over here, people were like, yeah, whenever Americans come here, they're always talking about like, oh, I'm Mexican American or I'm this, I'm that, and they're talking about like, oh, well, Mexicans in LA are like this, and we're the only ones talking about it. So it's like so we had to start talking about what was okay and what wasn't. So I think it just started with us.
Right, because there's like more conversation. There's a bit more policing it. Whereas like,
Yeah.
other countries are just like, hey, let's just ignore
No,
it.
but that you're
Everything's
talking
fine."
about New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles. These are not necessarily America even. These are like major metropolitan cities. These are very, very different places than the rest of the United States. So like, yeah, if you're in San Francisco, but San Francisco has been that since the 60s.
Right.
Like they were, you know what I mean? Like, so the idea that it's like a new thing, I think you can get away with I don't know, man. I just think a lot of that stuff. Like I was talking to someone about it recently. They're like, oh, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that anymore. And it's like, I don't really find that in my daily life. I think that's a symptom of being on the internet too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been oppressed, obviously, but I just think you have to like think about what I don't know. Give me an example of like
I just like, I don't know, just in the sense, in Australia, I don't think there's a lot of you can't say that anymore. Like, that's just not a very common sentence. Like, I can't, when I hear that sentence, I hear it in an American accent. Like, that's what I mean. Like, it's not like based on like.
Oh, you mean like Americans are the most annoyed about it?
Yeah, or like at least like kind of policing it amongst themselves, or like policing those conversations, I guess. Like, not that it's like, you know, like the racial equality heaven or anything, but just like that's just kind of like that type of conversation to me seems very American. Like, you can't say that anymore. Like,
do you think we were more of a, because we were more of like a mixed bag early on? Like most countries, it was just the people from that country. And then America just had all kinds of different immigrants from all over the place. And so, like, when I was watching All in the Family, do you remember that show from the 70s?
Yeah, sure.
The sitcom, and then the dad, the lovable racist of the father, was just saying there's this black family moved in. The whole episode was about this black family moving into this neighborhood.
Right.
And he was like, well, you got to watch out for the Italians. He's going to like cheat you. And you got to watch out for the Jews. And you got to watch out for this and that. And you're just like watching this now going, holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just because it's just been in our society for decades that now we're just coming around to going, we shouldn't say that anymore, you know? But like other countries probably haven't had to deal with like as much of a mix of cultures as we have.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me. Like, in Australia, there was the White Australia policy until like 1970. Like, that's when they were kind of like, oh no, we'll let everybody in. Like, there was still like Chinese immigrants and stuff like that, like because of the gold rush and stuff like that. Like, we did have it, but like as an official position, being like, hey, everybody come in. That's like 40, 50 years.
I just got super aware that I said lovable racist with air quotes.
Yeah.
Like, if you're watching the video, you know, I'm quoting. I was quoting.
Just
well, Archie Bunker, Archie Bunker is was a satire even at the time. So, you know, he's supposed to be like this sort of lampooning of a racist, because that guy was around back then. He's probably still around now. But I love South Park, and Cartman is supposed to be Archie Bunker. Right. You know, he's like a vessel for that as well. So
just saying
that's an American program, and that thing is fucking un-PC as it gets. You know, like it's
South Park.
Yeah.
I mean, South Park's been awesome, and just like we're just gonna do whatever we want.
Yeah, I think it's about intent.
Yeah,
it's like where you're coming from. I think. You know?
Yeah, but do you reckon they could make as many Jewish jokes as they do if one of the writers wasn't Jewish? Like, do you think that's a factor? Do most people know that, or is that just me reading into it?
I think it's probably like, I think it makes more sense. Like that they're like mates and they do all these Jewish jokes. Yeah, I think it would be a bit weird if like neither one of them were like. Maybe one episode, if it had a point, again, it's about intent. It's about where they're coming from. I don't know. Like, you can just tell. There's no real logic behind, like, when someone says, it's like when someone's on stage. I think the thing people get annoyed about is, like, it's a very weird thing, because if you're on stage and you say something that's not funny and the audience gets annoyed that there were buzzwords in it, it's like, it just wasn't that good. But it's like, if someone does something that's clearly, like, satirical, and then people just get annoyed because they didn't catch the intent in any way. That's a bit annoying. You know, that's like
sometimes people just hear certain keywords and then they turn off. When I was in Ohio, I worked at a comedy club, and I knew like if a comedian on stage just said Jesus, people are like, oh, don't talk about my religion. You know, it's just like you're not listening to what they're saying or what the intent is behind it. And it's the same with Hitler. And sometimes you have a really good point about Hitler, but like sometimes you
don't talk about my religion.
Yeah.
Producer Mooch in the corner, dropping in as always. And I find that really interesting, the intent thing, because with the buzzwords, this is like been my understanding of it, is like the switch has been that now kind of dumb people get offended. Like, getting offended used to be like a smart person thing. You know what I mean? Like a cryptic crossword. Like that was like, it was like a smart person thing. Now it's like, hey, hear the buzzword, feel offended. You can do it too. And they're like, oh, fucking sick. I can't wait to get offended by this word.
I just don't buy that.
You don't buy it?
No, I don't buy that at all. I hate that thing now that everyone gets offended.
I mean,
people have always been offended, and you get offended by things that aren't even what's considered offensive now. Like so if I didn't know you that well and you just stepped in and told me to get a different cup of coffee, I would have offended me. You know, and a lot of like right-wing people get offended if you stick left-wing things in their face as well. So I just think this idea, I just think like it should be the absolute last refuge, especially of a comic. It should be the absolute last branch that you go to before you just consider, did you deliver the idea well enough or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I
I
don't
don't
know.
think like too offensive.
But it's
is
the
a-
internet, man. It's like someone was telling like Carl Donnelly was telling me, he's like, what do you think about everybody getting annoyed about people being upset that oat milk isn't real milk? And I was like, I don't think they are. Like, I
Yeah.
think that that's something you saw on Twitter today that is not in reality.
Yeah.
So it's like people confuse certain, like they confuse social media and stuff like that with like the world. Like, it's not like I was walking down the street and people are like throwing milk out of Tesco and shit like that. It's just like,
It's not real milk.
I just think it's a
Chucking it
slippery
in the
slope,
street.
the whole offended thing. It's like that's like smacks to me of that whole like Comedy Unleashed crowd.
Yeah, sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm just,
yeah.
and this is the same. I have the hardest time with people whenever I start arguing with people about Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris and stuff like that. And they're like, well, what's the problem? I'm like, look, dude, you just something stinks about it. Okay. That's all I'm saying. I don't know that I can necessarily point it out in detail, but just something is rotten there. You can just tell.
got a
know what I
hunch.
mean? Yeah. It's coming from somewhere,
Yeah.
unpleasant, I think.
Have you noticed that flexitarians are getting a lot of ads geared towards them?
Flexitarian.
I've seen two things not geared towards flex. Do you know what a flexitarian is?
Yeah, like a vegetarian who like
Sometimes
eats
eats
meat.
meat.
Yeah.
That's a thing now.
Yeah.
That's a thing people
I mean,
call
that, isn't
themselves.
that just like a normal person who's trying to eat more vegetables? Like, you know what I mean? The branding on this shit these days is crazy. It's like, yeah, I'm a flexitarian. Like, that's my thing.
I
It's
just
like,
don't think
nah.
you deserve a title for that.
Exactly.
Just do
like,
that.
I'm probably doing flexitarian, but I'm just not particularly good at it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm just trying to eat more vegetables. I think that's a valid point. Eat less meat.
Yeah.
But like, why do I need to be like, hey, I'm a flexitarian? Are you a flexitarian?
Kamau Bell was I brought up flexitarianism and now I'm shifting back to what Russell was saying. I'm so sorry. Like Kamau Bell was talking about how he was telling a story about when he was younger and they were playing spin the bottle and this girl didn't want to kiss him and he was like, now I think that because they were dressed up like for Halloween, he was like, now I think that bitch was racist. And someone came up to him and was like, well, why is she a bitch? And it's like they got offended by the word bitch. So then he changed it to, I think that little doctor was racist. And he was like, and you know what? I got the same laughs. Like I don't have to call. Like it was in defense of not using the word bitch and not offending people. But I was like, that is not. It's funny. As bitch. Bitch is just funnier. But it's just like that kind of policing of what you're saying. Like
I don't think it's policing though. I don't see what's wrong with like people. Think about it. Like I think that comedy has become it's reached more people and audiences are getting smarter.
oh, that's interesting.
And so like dude, if you talk about San Francisco,
Yeah.
as far as I know, that's what comedy has been like in San Francisco since the 60s is like, yeah, but what did you mean? You know what I mean? So like as long as you do it in a certain way, I mean, I don't really mind. Like if someone goes like, because if you can then go, well, nope, she needs to be a bitch. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like if someone's doing it, I just don't necessarily, I don't know. I don't think it's that bad of a thing really to go think about what you're saying. You know what I mean? Because there's so much inherent bias. And I think that's what's been happening lately is we're all becoming aware of it. We're all just going, oh, I'm like a little racist or I'm like a little,
Wait,
didn't
weren't
even
you
realize.
just saying that people get too offended too easily?
No, I wasn't. I didn't say that. I said I don't think that they actually do. I think that it's like this idea that everybody's getting offended is a slippery slope, and I think it in itself comes from sort of an inherent bias towards I don't want to say like the right because that just sounds like a pervasive generalization, but yeah, I if you start saying people are getting offended too easily, it's like, well, what'd you say? Well, all I said was, everyone's a faggot. And you're like, oh, and they got offended by that. So I don't really think it's a big deal if someone goes, bitch is like a derogatory term. And do you want to think about, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, what's that person supposed to do? Not say it? When is it okay to say it if she thought it?
Right. If like that's his like honest emotion at the time.
If he said it and the audience member has an honest opinion about it,
Oh, right.
what are they supposed to do then?
Yeah. I mean, just
Because not getting offended isn't and I don't even know she was offended. I think she was just like,
I mean, I think the thing they're supposed to do is just not tell you. Like,
Really?
Like,
so what? That's the answer? Is just no discourse between human beings?
but like if it's, I know that's like a weird line to draw, but I just think now like I don't think anyone's ever felt more comfortable just complaining in general about everything. Like my bus was like 10 minutes late in Italy yesterday and I like drafted a tweet to like the bus company. Then I was like, wait a sec, what the fuck are you doing? Just like delete that. Just deal with it. Like it's fine. Like a bus can be 10 minutes late.
Yeah. But see, that's a social media thing.
Yeah.
Social media definitely does something to you that makes you want to complain easier, and it makes you want to voice your opinion. Like what? Oh, I read something today about my girlfriend was like, I'm on a show tonight with one of the guys from Made in Chelsea.
Yeah.
And because I have been sort of like encouraged to do more social media, so I'm like on Instagram, right? Dude, I felt an impulse to make a video saying anyone who's been on Chelsea, it should be illegal that you do stand-up. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I was just going to do. That's a perfect example of like one of those things that I would then go, sorry about that, you know what I mean? Because it just annoyed me. I was like, what?
Do you reckon it's because like you just don't want to be alone with that emotion? So you're like, I'm going to put this out and see if anybody else agrees. You know what I mean? Like,
You
that's
just
like on
have
the
ears.
bus.
You have instant ears. As soon as you say
Yeah.
anything, people are responding to it, and it's like someone's listening.
Yeah, because I can't complain to the bus driver, but like I could be like, and then just have a bunch of people from America be like, yeah, your bus should be on time. And I'm like, yeah, it should. And then you feel better about the emotion you were feeling. You feel like justified in it, you know?
Yeah.
It's the ease of doing it as well. I mean, like previously you'd have to write a fucking letter and then go to
Right.
the post office and you'd be like, I don't give a shit about this.
It's
really, I don't give a
instant.
shit about this. But if it's just at the end of your thumb,
Yeah, like the
Stunning.
second you got to
Yeah.
buy a stamp, you're like,
Yeah.
fuck my opinion. Like I could not give a shit anymore.
And it's more otherwise you're just yelling at another bus driver. Like you should tell your colleague that he needs to be on time. Like but you're gonna voice it somehow. It's just Twitter's just made it very easy, and you have an audience.
Yeah. But it's funny because like is America the most on Twitter out of any country? I think that might be true. Like
It's
Australia's
just
got
a
fuck
big
all
country.
Twitter. Like in terms of like the percentage of people like per capita. Sorry, Mitch, can you look that up? Is that all right?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, just like genuinely, I think America's like more on Twitter than like anywhere else, and like that makes sense to me because like you know the American stereotype, like you know we got opinions, they should be heard, like
Yeah.
and like we want to, and also like
Well, I didn't know that. That's interesting. I
Yeah.
assume the world is pretty much on it, though.
no that you'd be surprised, like Australia, like it's just not
That's cool.
a thing.
So,
Well, Egypt's obviously on it. The whole Arab Spring broke out because of Twitter, so it's like the Middle East is on it. I
Right.
think a lot of people are on.
What do we
apparently-
got?
It's just Australians
yeah.
out there just surfing.
So, United States, Japan, UK. Hang on, is this in order? Yeah. United States by a long way. Then Japan, like 48 million. Japan,
Think of
36
think
million.
of how many people in Japan have to be on. Look how Japan's a small little island compared
Yeah.
to this huge.
Saudi Arabia is
America's-
quite big.
Yeah,
On Twitter.
Yeah.
but that makes sense.
Like they're the fourth. Like then it's UK, then Saudi Arabia.
Interesting. Why does it make sense in Saudi
What are
Arabia?
they doing over there? They can't drink. Women
I'm
just
surprised
aren't-
they're allowed
Instagram
to
is
be on it.
useless because
Yeah.
And I'm surprised they're allowed to be on it, though.
Yeah,
that's what
I
I'm
know.
I
thinking.
was
It's
surprised
kind
as
of
well.
like that doesn't sound too like.
I mean, less political stuff, more kind of like memes, you know? I think that's what Saudi Arabian Twitter's all about. That'd be hard.
But I think people just get, like, it's a social media thing.
Mm.
And I think that what people actually get offended by is the confidence that comes across in a
Right.
social media post. Like, anytime anyone is super assertive about anything, it irritates people. It just does. And I think that that's what happens. Is like you see someone write something so like, this is what I think. It's just, I don't know what. It's like a psychologist would have to figure it out, but it's something just annoys you. You
Yeah.
like have to take that person down. But when it comes to interacting, like you talk about complaining on the bus, I think if you do it face to face, it's better because you have accountability to what you're saying as well. And it really
Right.
puts it into perspective. You're like, how mad are you? Tell them.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal now, is it? But when it becomes like then it's. So I think when people get offended, it's 99% in the digital world, and I don't think that counts really. If someone comes up to you and goes, "Hey, what did you say about that?" I think it's a little bit healthier. That's happened to me like once in 3 years, like
Right,
the last
like
3 years. Like
proper-
someone came up and went, "Hey, what was up with that?"
Analog offense being
Yeah.
like, hey, dude, that was...
And it was a bit like she was like, English isn't my first language. I did a joke the other night about that guy Lil Nas X, that black country singer.
Oh, yeah.
And I said there's a gay black country singer, and I think it's amazing that gay people are equal enough now to make their own terrible music. Like that was the joke, right? And she came up to me and she was like, "What was that about? Like, were you saying something nasty about him being gay and black?" I was like, "No."
I was
No,
saying
because they
something
just
nasty
hear
about country
you
music.
saying
Yeah.
those words, and they're just like, "Oh shit, now I'm like, now they're on edge because you're white."
Yeah, sure. And I don't even know what that is. That's just a society.
I used to talk about being Egyptian and my parents, and I still do on stage, but like it's just my experiences. And I've had a couple of white people come up to me like, oh, I spent a lot of time in Egypt. You know, Egypt's a beautiful country, and like Egyptians are beautiful people. And I was like, you didn't grow up with my father. Like,
Wait, you were like being mean about Egypt, and they were like, what are you talking about?
I
It's
wasn't even
great.
being mean about Egypt. It's just like my experiences and like my family and talking about that. And they're just like defending Egypt as if I'm just slagging off the whole country and all Egyptians. It's just like I'm talking about.
Wait, but like white people doing that?
Yeah, it's always white people. It's always white people. What a beautiful country that is.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
That's it, dude. We like colonization. We're taking offense too. We're gonna get it. We're gonna take over offense. That's what we got in the bank. White people, we get it. We're taking it over. But wait, but you were born States or Egypt?
I was born in Ohio.
Born in Ohio.
Yeah.
How's Ohio? That's middle states. Is it middle?
I'm yeah, it's like sort of middle to the right, like
Middle to the
New
right.
York.
Is it
Yeah.
is it southern technically or
No, not at
it's
all.
above.
No. So it's,
yeah.
it's just under the Great Lakes there.
Okay. Like Cleveland, Ohio?
Yeah, well, that's a city in Ohio.
But is that where you were born?
No, Columbus.
Columbus, Ohio. I've heard of Columbus. I don't know why. I mean, I've heard it's Columbus Day, I think. Or yesterday was
You've heard of
Columbus
probably
Day.
Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
So,
So give me some stats on Columbus. Big town, small town.
oh God, I don't know. I think it's just like right down the middle. Everything, right down the middle politically. It's got suburbs. There's a city. There's a huge university. It's not.
Did you go to university there?
It's not
Did
a
you go?
huge city, but it's not a small city.
Right. Just your average city.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you go to university there? Or you go somewhere else?
I went to a smaller town in Ohio for university, and then I moved to New York, and then LA, and now I'm here.
Right. So you kind of went.
I just fast forwarded through my whole history there.
Yeah, it was good. I
New York, LA.
liked it. It was quick. It was efficient. And what about you, Russell? Where were you born, raised?
San Diego, California. And then I went to LA and for like 3 years, and then I came here.
Right.
And that's
What
it,
years
man.
were you in LA?
I was in Los Angeles from, I think it was 2002 to about 2014. It was not very long. It might have been 2 years. I looked at my passport recently.
Wait,
first
Say that again.
2002?
2012?
Oh, sorry, 2012. I started comedy in 2010. 2012 to 2014. It was like only 2 years because I looked at my passport. The first time I came here was 2013.
Yeah, me
Right.
too.
It was a real shocker when I realized my comedy career has been over 2 times longer in this country, but I still think like I'm from America. I've done the bulk of it there. No, not now.
Right.
I've been here like 6 years. I only did comedy in America for 3 or 4.
And like, just one thing that I find interesting, like you guys moving, because you went through New York to LA and then to here, but you just went straight to here. I would have thought, like, as an American, if you're going to move to London, you'd be like, maybe just check out New York, you know? Because like, in my head, that's like a similar kind of vibe in terms of like a big kind of walk around metropolis kind of
Well,
thing.
I was going to go to New York. It was always like whatever, you probably had this too. Like whatever town you start in, everyone's like, eventually you have to move to one of these 2 big cities.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe you go to San Francisco for like a year, but like, and I was gonna go to New York. I was like, that's where it's at, because that was like where the real comics were supposed to be. And then I just had a word with myself. I was like, dude, you live an hour and a half from LA. Why would you go to New York? And I was like, well, I'll just move to LA because then I can come home all the time if I want. And that's what I did. And then I didn't have any plans to go to London. I don't know about you, but I always liked it. And then I just met a girl, and that was the first way I came over. And
That's how I met a guy.
yeah. And you go, oh, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
I used to always kind of like, it was kind of bad, but I would be like, because I guess she had to go back. And I just remember thinking, like, if she was from Brazil, we probably would have just broke up. But like, she was from London, so I was like, I'll go with you.
I'll go to London, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Sorry.
If she's
Are you still with her?
Yes. No. That'd be funny. I'd treat her like shit like that. No.
Is that
I'm with a
gaslighting? Not
new
gaslighting.
British girl.
New British girl. Okay. So wait, you met a British guy, British girl. And you both kind of came here for love. That's interesting. Because like, you talk to like Australian comedians. Most of us come here for a career. Like it's kind of like,
Well, you have the option because you have that visa.
yeah.
You can come over here.
Can you guys not get that?
No.
Ah, what's your visa sit? You need a spousal.
We're
We're
in a
American,
similar.
dude. We're just American.
Yeah.
Literally.
We do whatever
like,
we want.
I just walk through like Dumb and Dumber. Like, I'm a limo driver. Like, it's cool. No, what
I
did we
love that
get?
you guys just broke into that so naturally.
Yeah, that was so funny. We're both like, I don't know. We just did what we want. It is funny. Americans do have that attitude. Like we like, because I was gonna come over here. I didn't know anything about visas. It was like someone stopped me like about a month before I went and was like, "Do you have a visa?" I was like, "No," and then they hooked me up with one.
Oh, that's great. That's nice that they did that. Yeah, it's just we're on like an artist visa right now. I think you're on an artist visa.
Yeah. You have to prove, and it's weird, man. When you get an artist visa for a while, you think like this is dodgy, but then you realize that you have work. And that's really the thing that not everyone can get. I don't know, man. It took me like a year or two, maybe even 3, to go like, oh, I guess I get paid to do stand up. So that's why I thought, I was like, I shouldn't. This is impossible.
Yeah, it feels like we're fibbing on a resume about how qualified we are. You know?
Totally.
It feels like nobody's taking this seriously, right? Like just because I get up at Top Secret, like you're gonna give me a visa for that.
Yeah.
You know? So it's just, but this is actually what we do for a living.
But you guys are professional comedians. Like,
no, I know, but I'm saying after a while, you just feel like it took me a while to go. Yeah, I guess. Okay, yeah, like having certain months of confirmed clubs every week. Yeah, you are a working comic.
Right.
Like it literally took a while.
Yeah.
Like even when you write it on your tax return for the first 2 times, you're like,
I feel like
you're like, I'm gonna be arrested. Like,
right. Every time there's an occupation box and I put comedian, I'm like, no, I am one. That's me. I'm a professional comedian. But it does take a while.
Yeah. That's the difference. I think there's two different types of comedians. Like there's comedians that are just like, yeah, of course I am. Like I'm an entertainer. Like whereas the rest of us are kind of like, do you want me to go? I'll leave.
Yeah.
And,
the first time I ever said I wanted to be a comedian out loud felt like I was saying, like, I want to join the circus. It felt ridiculous to say.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I think I was 17 when I was like, yeah, I could be a comic. I started getting into stand-up comedy then, but it wasn't until years later. Then I was like, I want to be a comedian. That's what I want to do. And that felt weird.
So did you work in the comedy club before you started? Like, was that your kind of little toe dip? It's like, what if I hang around them?
You know the Columbus Funny Bone? You ever do it?
The what?
Columbus Funny Bone?
No.
Okay. Yeah, it's a club like ran by a guy named Dave Stroop, but like all comedians from all over the country go there to audition for him because he books like 14 or 15.
Oh,
clubs.
right, yeah.
So.
That's funny. Like American comedy club names are always like kind of like the Funny Bone, like the Helium, like just something weird. Whereas like the English ones are very quaint. I think it's just like we're going to Hot Water, we're going to Top Secret,
Tepid,
like,
Warm Water,
Warm
Water Comedy Club.
But like in America, it's always like this weird, like, Giggle Shack.
Yeah.
Like the Stress Factory. Like, what the fuck? Who's coming up with this? Like, this
what is the
weird.
Stress Factory? Like, what? Like, who did? Yuck Yucks. I love Yuck Yucks.
Yuck
I think that's
Vancouver. They're just all over Canada.
Go Bananas in Cincinnati. Yeah, they're my friend. She was doing a podcast for these comedians, and so she would get checks in the mail from D's Nuts. That is pretty much that's why we feel ridiculous putting comedian down on a form when we're getting checks from D's Nuts.
What was it like when you first came over here? How did you find doing the gigs? Sorry, someone's got to host this podcast.
Look, man, I'm sorry about the mug. All right, I'm just sorry. Yeah.
I couldn't believe how good the audiences were. Like I was just like, Angel Comedy Club at Camden Head was one of my first shows, and it wasn't. It was Monkey Business, but it was one of my first shows. And oh my God, I was so amazed at how good that show was, because like I was so used to LA when everybody was like 3 other comedians in the audience, and it was just really terrible shows. And then I invited somebody from Live Nation to come, and she came, but she went to, I didn't know there were 2 Camden Heads. There's one in Camden and one in Angel, and so she went to the other one, and then I fucked that so hard. But like, my first impression was like blown away. I was like, I didn't know I could love comedy this much. Like, it's fun. And I didn't want to stop. So anyway, when I met the guy, I came over, we broke up, but I was like, I'm having so much fun on this scene. So I stayed.
Yeah.
Right. Did you come here like as a professional? Was this all you've done here, or did you have other jobs?
I do like comedy coaching. But
comedy coaching.
Yeah, like I do 1-to-1 like stand-up coaching.
Right. Do they call you coach, like all good American coaches?
You have a whistle?
I have a whistle. I was gonna say I have a whistle. I wear a jumpsuit, and like it's just amazing. I make them run for a mile, and they're like, "What are we doing? Get your creative juices flowing, kid." So,
are you big in Australia?
No.
Because you came over here. Do you notice this about him? I don't know. Like you hit the ground running, man. Like
Thank
you
you
are like so fast.
That's
like how long have you been here?
20 months.
20 minutes?
20 months.
20 months.
I'm about to leave. That's why.
Are we newborns? I don't understand.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's just, thank you
just
for
under,
that, Mitch.
Just under 2 years.
Okay. 20 months.
Why am I the victim on
no,
this
you're not.
podcast?
You're not. I am. So, 20 months. And you're leaving soon?
Yeah.
Forever?
Yeah.
Why are you
Oh,
doing a
fucking-
podcast then?
Because I did it for a while, and I'm probably gonna keep doing it in Australia.
How easy
actually.
is it to
should.
change that graphic to my face? man?
I gotta go. About 20 quid.
the title.
What the
So
Are you really
when
leaving
going
for
back?
good?
In mid-December.
Why are
I'm
you
going
leaving
back.
forever?
My fiance got a good job.
Oh.
You're
I'm
going back to
going back.
Australia?
Yeah,
Oh.
but I'll keep. I'm planning to keep coming here like a couple of months
What
out
part
of
of
the year.
Australia are you from?
Sydney.
Sydney. I was planning on going to LA for January through March every year. It just didn't work out like that. It's really hard.
You're doing pretty good over here, man. Are you sure you want to go back?
Do you love her?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I do. We sure
Well, she
that?
doesn't love you.
Are we sure that I'm not the victim?
No, but I'm just saying you're doing so good, man. And like you, I just think, wow, like when you got into everywhere really fast. I think it took me a while to figure it out, but you
Yeah.
seem like you.
I don't know.
And then you had that special on Amazon. I just thought,
You have a special on Amazon?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a-
He's a
not-
mover.
You guys should watch that.
A stand-up special.
Yeah,
For how long?
50 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's 50. I feel a bit lame about that. I'm like 50.
Why
Didn't
is
make
that
the
lame?
hour. Didn't make the hour. It's like 49 with
Most
a long
people- most
fade
people
out. Like a
fucking
long fade out. I told the
appreciate
director,
not
having
fucking
to sit
fade
through
this
a-
thing out. Slow. Play the credits slow.
I mean, 20 months in, you got a podcast in this cool art studio.
It's true. Sponsored by
This is a
Vauxhall
great
Comedy
studio.
Club, one of the
Yeah.
best comedy clubs in London. Love it there.
Nice
yeah.
one.
So no, yeah, I'm curious because like I still would like to go to America. That's something that still is on my kind of
New
list.
York or LA?
Probably LA, just because you can
Closer, right?
jump quicker and it's closer to Sydney. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Jump
big part of
quicker?
it. You can jump quicker in LA.
Oh, you're good at that jumping.
What do you
You're
mean
like the
jump?
grasshopper
just
of
like
comedy.
kind of bang, just like you can
Comedy
really
grasshopper.
level up high in LA. Whereas like New York, I think
Now
it's
that right there, that just explained a lot about you to me.
like, what do you mean?
Just the idea of jump, and I don't mean it in a negative way. I mean like this
Like,
is what I'm
yeah.
saying. You got your head switched on. Did you think the concept of jump? I don't look at things as a jump.
No. Mine's
I
been
kinda just
mine's been, you know
mosey.
those like escalators that are practically broken? It's been the slowest incline for years.
Yeah.
That's what my trajectory is. But you're jumping all over. You're like the parkour of. I'm
this-
trying to
Yeah.
give you a name here.
You're
This
the
is-
parkour of stand-up.
This
Yeah.
is bothering me that like two Americans are looking at me like I'm.
Oh,
you
you're a
know, just,
go-getter.
Like, self-indulged,
I-
like you know,
I
like
know.
hustling.
I
Like
know,
Daniel goes
which
to
is
do my
insane.
podcast. I'm like, yeah, okay, great. What is this?
Oh,
Studio. He's got
you
a
don't do it in your
producer. Look at this
closet
guy.
like everyone else.
That's true.
Yeah. For two Americans to call you a go-getter is a huge compliment.
I mean,
'cause
that's
feel like
scary.
You're smart.
Feels like I should run for.
We all gotta
president or
jump.
something.
Nah.
Go strong.
The
Yeah.
first gig I did when I came here, by the way, was
I like that
wow.
you're now
Nobody
interviewing
asked.
yourself. You've
That's
interviewed.
right.
Yeah,
Maria.
I
I
will,
feel bad.
uh,
Like nobody asked. I
nobody
didn't
did
mean-
ask.
Yeah.
Guys, it's just a flowing conversation. Like,
Which is unfortunate, but
What was the first?
lucky
thing?
for you, you're gonna get the story anyway. Get ready.
are we, or
Are
are we
these
just
are
gonna-
these cameras working? Because
Yeah, your
you're gonna want to
camera's
clip
across.
this one up.
There you go. You want the black can.
Now the first gig. So I did like when I first came here. First of all, I think I personally found it a bit. I was a little nervous because like you don't know what references work. And I would hesitate. But the first gig I did was some guy found me on the internet and was like, when you get here, do this gig. I landed, and the next day I did this gig, and it was in Streatham.
You
and
did
it-
a gig the next day.
Yeah, I
after
know.
you landed.
Dude, I was trying to hop, jump. I was. And I did this urban gig, which is like middle class for all black people, right?
Yeah.
And Kane Brown is hosting it, and he is like incredible. And this is the thing, man. Like black people here are from a more diverse. Like Kane was on stage doing Nigeria jokes and like Zimbabwe and doing accents, and I was like, I don't know. I don't even know how to handle this at all.
Yeah.
And
You don't have the points of reference. You're just like,
no,
oh,
I'm just
boy.
like, hey, man, like, like in America, we're all Americans. Like, even if it doesn't matter, race, whatever, man. You know what I mean?
You're African American. You're not. Just
Yeah,
like-
but you just, like, I would never be like, I don't know the first thing about I don't know the stereotypes. Kane was like, oh, Nigerian, you probably fucking carried your, alligator briefcase to here. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Dude, I went on and they booed me off.
They booed you off.
Yeah.
Your first gig.
I got booed in a black room once.
Oh,
They booed
wow.
me.
Yeah.
Well, they booed me. I didn't leave, but they booed.
Yeah.
They wanted to boo me off.
You stayed?
I tried
stayed.
to reason with them.
How do you reason with a booer?
I've done that before. Like, I start getting booed, and then I go, guys,
How
like,
many times have
let's
you been
talk
booed?
about this.
How many times have you been booed?
Well, I've been booed probably twice, and they were both black rooms, yeah. But then at the same time, dude, you know this, like I've been carried out of black rooms. Like they will go absolutely mental for you.
Right.
Bill Burr talked about how he used to do the urban rooms because he was like this little ginger-headed, like white boy, palest guy in the world. So he'd go and purposefully do those rooms to get good. Like he'd cut his teeth in those rooms.
Yeah.
But that like. I remember I saw this thing was like Jim Norton was making fun of him for doing that. It's just like like Bill Burr doing black rooms now. Like you could like you're a ginger guy from Boston.
But that was his point.
You couldn't be more of a novelty act if you're wearing a hood and juggling burning crosses. So,
hilarious.
But I had a few rough shows in other areas too, because I think my style too, like when I would improvise with the audience, it was like too brazen sometimes. Like I noticed that they were like, we're not going to allow you, maybe this is in my head, but some of these clubby clubs I would play, like when Junglers was still around, it was like the vibe was like, you know, I'd come on, hey, what's going on? And whereas in America, I can just jump right into it. They would be like, this is this American guy. And it's like, we're not, wait a minute, whoa. We don't totally like you yet. You can't just start picking on the audience.
Sure.
What kind of American are you? And I didn't want to play that game for like 7 months, and I would die accordingly. Because I'd come out, and sometimes I'd be like, and it's, you know, I mean, I sound biased, but I'd be like, come on, that was funny. I'd be like talking to a guy, and I'd be like, that was funny. And then I'd start doubting it. And that's the other thing. If you're improvising, you can't doubt it. I'd be like, do they even have this? So sometimes I would really die.
Is the response, is there a noticeable response to you being an American? Like to British people? Or are they kind of like, who's this American guy?
I don't know, man. I don't want to blame it on that. But like, I think really what happens, I know for me, is I think you get in your own head.
Yeah.
And then that affects your confidence. And then you think they're judging you for a different reason. And then you're in this loop. But really, you probably just doubted yourself. So whenever an American comes over, I go, dude, don't just do all your American references. Don't worry about it. Because they'll appreciate that you're being confident above anything else. Like, it doesn't really matter. And you'll figure out the references. Like, I met a guy in Edinburgh. And I was like, just don't get, like, in your head about it. Because that'll be worse. Than
I just told an American comedian that was over here. And she just did... this gig I run. It was she just kept apologizing. Oh, it's an American. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, I don't get it because I'm American. And like she kept bringing it up that she was American.
Yeah, that's like, another thing that's
annoying.
I was
like, they don't care.
They don't care.
They're used to us. Like there's like we're a huge country. There's a lot of us over here, you know. So it's like they don't. They seem to think like. She seemed to think like she'd come from some small town that like she was some like. Bumpkin novelty thing. I was like, you're just like normal to them.
It comes across as a sort of weird arrogance to them as well.
Yeah.
That you're like, well, but then again, I'm American, so.
Right.
You all, as you know, it's like when someone assumes you know things about them.
Yeah.
Like when a comic goes like, well, I shouldn't say this, but I was with a comedian recently who said something about, well, during my nomination year. And I thought, I'm sorry, did you just label it like that? That's what we label historical events.
My nomination
like
year?
the year of the rose. Like, yeah, you're like my nomination year. And I just thought.
That's what he refers to 2015 as.
Yeah. But he just said it to me like
Was it an American comedian?
No, I'll tell you later. Oh. But he just said it to me like as if, as you know.
Yeah.
The year of.
Obviously.
As you know, 2013 is heretofore known as my nomination year of our Lord. And it's like, that's what I think can happen if you do the whole American thing too much. Like,
but like, you have to address it, right? Sorry, please.
I was just going to add a story, but I did a show in Edinburgh too with this headliner that's been in the news lately. Just went right into that at the top of his set, just talking about it, not explaining what happened, not saying like, oh, I don't know if you've heard, but like this happened and then hear my jokes about it. Just right into the jokes. And then this guy comes up to him after and is like, never heard of you, mate.
That's the one thing that's great about British people. They will tell you.
Yeah,
oh, sure.
Yeah,
they'll tell you anything.
They'll tell you on stage while you're in the middle of it. Which is pretty funny.
You're never short of their opinion. Like it is like, oh yeah, these guys fucking hate me.
I think, and then you just get comfortable though. Like now, I'm just super comfortable. And honestly, man, once you get comfortable, everybody's experience is different. I think I was a little more uncomfortable than normal, but once you're comfortable in all of Britain, then you just use that like anywhere else you go. So I think it's way easier to play another country because it's the same rules apply. You just go, well, don't just be yourself. It doesn't matter. Like, especially with the internet now, it's like you're not gonna say something that worst case scenario you say a reference they don't get, and then you just kind of go, oh, you don't have that, and then that leads to something.
Yeah.
Like in Bill Burr's recent special, he says something about like He makes a few references that I'm like, oh, they don't have that over here. He says like
Yeah.
Bed Bath and Beyond, but it's not
Oh, yeah,
weird.
but they're
But I mean,
not.
that's a film special for international distribution. You know, like you'd never be like, what's that thing they call it?
No, I know, but I'm saying in the room at Royal Albert Hall.
Right. They
But
were
it
just
doesn't
kinda-
matter because I think British people know more about Americans than we do them. Anyway.
Yeah. You ever do hostel shows in the States? Because like in New York, it was
Oh,
like
yeah.
all the
I've
comedians
done some
would
of
be
them.
like,
Yeah.
all the comedians, all the American comedians would be looking at their like diverse audience of people and just be like, "Yo, is a Burger King? Guys, ever heard of Burger King?" It's like they fucking know what Burger King is.
That
It's
is
just a stupid joke.
exactly what I'm talking about. That is so obnoxious. That's fucking terrible, mate. Like, don't do that.
But
Yeah.
in fairness, I also saw a comic at that kind of show go on stage and just talk about Puerto Ricans and like homeless people on the subway to like 15 Swedish people, and they were just like, "What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't make any
No,
sense to us."
yeah, definitely, I wouldn't.
And
do
they're just like,
that,
he's out there being
but-
like, "What? You don't have homeless? Like, you don't have the sub?" It's
Yeah.
like, no, they don't. Like, and they don't know what Puerto Rico is either. They don't.
Yes,
like,
they do.
Swedish people know about Puerto
Yes,
Rico.
I perform in Stockholm all the time.
and
I
you
talk
about
about
Puerto Rico.
Latinos.
Latinos
Well,
is
sure.
different to Puerto Rico.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, but like, if you said Puerto Rico, they're like, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I was just in Milan, and I have this joke where I say quiche a lot, and they don't call
And they
it
love
quiche.
they love tacos. By the way, they have Taco Fridays in Sweden.
Really?
Yeah. Sorry.
Wow.
Just a
Taco
fun
Tuesdays,
fact.
isn't it?
Taco Tuesday.
You would think they
Yeah,
would
I
have
know.
gone. You would
Probably
think they would go with the
weirdos.
alliteration, but they
Fajitas
don't.
maybe
They
on
save it
Friday.
for Friday. Like, look it up. It's a thing.
But
in
maybe
Sweden.
like the Swedish word for Friday starts with a T.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, there are
Yeah.
different languages, guys,
Could be.
not just the right one.
Right one.
Yeah, the right one. Well, I mean, it is. Like, let's be honest. Like, if you're like, what language do you speak? English, you get a tick. Like, that's just the world. No.
Well, everyone
Fine.
speaks
Mandarin
English.
is
This
probably
is
the most popular.
Yeah, in China, and a lot of them speak English. If you look at it, the most spoken
We better
language in the
start
world
learning.
is English. Like, it's spoken by the most people. It's not the language that has like it's not like the national language of the most countries, but it's spoken by the highest number of people. Yeah, I do research.
Daniel Muggleton, white power. You heard it here, guys.
I mean, I will be editing that out of the audio, the video. Unfortunately, I don't know how. So it's just,
The Union
stuck in
Jackoff.
there. Just a new soundbite. That's in the intro, like Marin.
Daniel Muggleton, white power. Yeah. Lock the gates. White power. Daniel Muggleton.
Do you guys have any like plans to leave here? Or are you guys like settled? Because you're making fun of me for going. Like, do you?
I don't want to leave. I'd love to stay. My visa situation's a bit up in the air, and I think we have a similar situation.
Yeah.
But so I'm trying to figure that out. But it's as long as I
If
can
you could
stay,
stay.
I'm staying.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the visa thing is like, I mean, basically, I am good. Like, you've got, it's cool, but someone will sponsor you. You just
Yeah.
got to get a visa. But like, there's a bunch of options open to me that I've been here long enough now. I think I can apply for other things as well. And also with my partner, I just realized if you've been with your partner like 2 years in
I
the
told you
same
that.
flat,
Yeah.
was that you that said
Yeah,
that?
that was me.
Is this the American meeting? The Union Jackoff with Daniel Muggleton.
I love it here, and there's I got asked I got a new agent, and they were like, "You're staying, right?" And I was like, "Oh, cool, yeah, I'll stay." I don't know, I'll go back a little bit. I like it. I was talking to Rich Hall last night, and that's what he did. So
How has he been here for so long?
he's got I think he's married to a Brit and
Okay, right.
things like that.
Yeah,
this
you can't get leave to remain anymore, right?
I mean, but he's also Rich Hall. I think when you win the Perrier, you get citizenship. That's what I heard.
in your award-winning /
God, I need
citizenship.
That's what
era.
I was under the impression of.
That's why everyone really wants it.
That's the only reason I want it.
But no, it's just like, yeah.
And I want a Perrier.
Like,
Yeah, I don't want some
I don't want the
fucking
lastminute.com.
Yeah, right.
Squarespace.
I mean, the Foster's
The
Comedy
award
Award
is getting
one of the best.
the
Let's
award
say.
is getting nominated by the worst and worst names.
Well, now it's Dave's Comedy Award, which is that's all right.
Dave,
That's
Dave,
great,
I don't wanna-
fucking
yeah.
Sounds
Dave.
like your mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Dave's award.
I was gonna say Barry, but that is an award too. Great.
Barry Award.
Now we've got the
Tony.
Dave Award and the Barry
Barry
Award.
All
It
the
just
best
sounds like
are actually
two
names, aren't
fucking assholes in a Weatherspoons.
I've said
Skype,
they just,
Skype, and
Tony,
Barry.
Barry, Dave.
there just
Yeah,
needs to be more women in comedy. Like, we just need the Agnes Award. That'd be good.
yeah, they're like hurricanes.
Yeah.
We name them now.
No, it's because like you guys don't have any pull to like go back to the States professionally, like just in terms of the like I mean, like
I do.
America's got to be considered
Yeah.
like the stand-up pinnacle, right? Like you have to say that. Like
I look at it like an investment portfolio, and it's shifted now to where like let's say most people that work in comedy, America is their stocks and shares. You got a
Sure.
good 70% of that, right? And then your bonds that you just dip, that's your, like, you go to Britain. Mine's flipped. So I go to America 30% and I'll be in Britain 70%. I just came back from America. It's fun, man. I really enjoy being back. But, you just go where people be like, when are you coming back to LA? And I'm like, you tell me why.
Yeah.
Why
yeah.
would I go back to do another fucking toothpaste advert or like a rental car thing where I was like, for like 200 pounds?
Yeah. I'll go back to LA when I have a reason to go back to LA. Like,
Yeah, I would
want-
totally go. I
Yeah.
tell you, like, dude, and I think that's good. Like, my friend is over from LA right now. He hosts the roast battle. Do you know Brian?
Yeah.
Brian? Yeah. So like, okay, talk to him. Hey, what's going on? That's the other thing, man. People are coming over more and more. So I still see all these people.
Yeah.
Right.
And I just let them get more successful.
And then they'll bring you on board.
And then they come and get me like in
That's-
like a Rambo movie.
That's 100%. That's what
There's
I'm
only
doing.
one man
Or,
that
like,
could play this part.
Saving Private Ryan or something.
Never going back. I fucking told you. And then I do it. It's all good, man. I see people in LA. I was watching Netflix the other day. One of my old roommates was in the Zach Galifianakis movie. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
It's people like, so that stuff gives you like, I think if you stay in it, it seems like everybody kind of makes it a little bit. Like there's so many people
That's
from
what
back
my
home.
acting teacher in LA said. Just stay in line.
There's
just
a
gotta
lot
stay
of
in line.
people from back home that I'll be like watching TV and just be like, oh, like a program I'm watching, and I just be like, that's my mate.
Yeah, I used to watch like the Super Bowl for all the commercials that my friends were in. It's like people watch the Super Bowl for the commercials. I'm like, all my friends are in all those adverts. That's why I watch it. It's fun. But yeah,
If you're
they will-
making
they
a
will-
living, yeah, it's
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I mean, America would be cool. Why would I like going back. I went back recently, did a couple of clubs. I could do stuff on the West Coast. And
Yeah, because you guys are both. Were you born Ohio, but you lived West Coast for a bit? Or
7 years, yeah.
7 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think one thing that really annoys me about when people talk about America, like they kind of lump it all in as like the same. And like as you said when I was talking about this PC thing, you're like, those are 3 cities.
oh, those are very, very different places
That are not
in
indicative of
America.
anywhere
Not
else.
at all. And like even me, like growing up in California, dude, I didn't see the Midwest. I still haven't really seen the Midwest. Like,
How many states would you have been to in your life?
I've probably been to like half of them.
About half?
Washington D.C. is a great place to go, which is what, Virginia, right?
Is it?
Isn't
I
that in
know it's not
Virginia?
in a state. It's just DC.
No, but it's in.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's within
Fine.
Virginia,
Or
and then
Maryland.
like, huh?
Or Maryland.
Never been to Maryland. I've been to New York. I've been
Yeah.
to the
So, like, a
Midwest.
fair
I've been
bit
to a
the-
lot of states. I want to go to Tennessee and I want to go to Texas. I've never been to those states. And Louisiana.
Never been to Texas. Out of the Texas.
Oh, Texas! My parents used to live there. It's great.
Yeah, I've just never.
Texas is its own thing. Yeah, it's really interesting. It really is. It's massive, and it totally abides almost into like by its own laws. They have open carry. You can have just a gun.
Oh, I thought usually open carry means like, doesn't it mean like alcohol on the streets?
Oh yeah,
I just have
Not
guns.
that
Not in
too
Texas.
probably.
Just
I mean, who's gonna say
swinging
no?
your
The guy's
gun.
got a gun. So.
Yeah, it's true.
It fucking means I carry whatever I want.
Yeah. But no, like, do you find that frustrating when people kind of talk to you like you're these like southern backward people? Like, does that happen to you? Like, I assume British people are pretty aware.
I feel guilty if I do a southern accent on stage, like as to make fun of an American.
Yeah.
Because I know that's not necessarily indicative of everybody. But
Right.
I'm trying to come up with an American, because a real American's just like that. Because I don't really know anything about the South. I've been to Mississippi and they're really nice.
Yeah. And
Well, you're white.
Yeah, yeah. I do a joke about that. I do a thing where like in big cities they're mean to your face but they're liberal, but in the small redneck towns they're nice to your face and they're racist.
Yep.
Which is like what I found. They're so nice.
Right. Have you
And
had,
it
like,
is because you're white, yeah.
Have you had experience of that when you go to those smaller states? Like, do you cop anything for being Egyptian? No. I mean,
I don't go.
you don't go. Okay, you're
No,
just like,
my friend had a wedding in Georgia last year in the mountains of Georgia, and the city was so small, and it was just like there was one Uber driver who was also the Lyft driver, and if you wanted him, you had to text him, and he would get on his app.
Wow.
His name was Preston. He was a really cool guy, but it was such a small town, and like you just don't feel. It was me and this girl Brittany who was black, and my friend Ed who's Mexican, and we like stood out. It was just such a white town.
Sure.
And it's just like we're just.
Where was that? Which?
This was in. It was in Georgia.
Yeah,
in the
Georgia,
mountains
yeah.
of Georgia.
But like, were they
We're
like?
just very aware of our.
But were they like kind of psyched? Did they like make like a thing of like, hey, this is fun, or was it kind of like, what are you doing in our town? Like, what's the vibe?
I
'Cause,
don't
like,
know. Like we were so busy just putting that on them that I don't know if they were actually
Right,
racist towards us. But we were
Yeah,
just,
that's the thing, man. The South gets a bad rap. There's a lot of creative people in the
Yeah.
South and all that. And like, dude, what you've got? Where have I gone? You go to Memphis, Tennessee. You got Elvis.
yeah. But I just asked because like
That's fun.
In Australia, I think like the racism you'll get is kind of like a weird enthusiasm.
Mm.
Like it won't be kind of like you can't come in here. It'll be like, whoa, where are you from? Holy shit! And you're like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
American, and they'd be like, no. Like, what's with this? Like, you know,
right.
like Egyptian. Holy shit, pyramids, and then like,
Oh, right,
right, right.
that'd be the vibe.
What if you're
Yeah.
Aborigine?
Well, they live there. They live in those towns in the poor. Every fucking episode, I say this like, to everyone's like, "Hey Dan, you know, like the indigenous people get treated badly in your country." Yes, we know. What about the
Where's that
Native
excitement for
Americans?
them?
Where are they
Yeah,
at?
I know, right. I love them. They're in the reservations.
They have reservations.
Yeah. Just drinking. Just kidding. Sorry, please.
I mean,
There's a lot of racism in Montana towards the Native Americans. I remember that because I did the
Montana.
Big Sky Comedy Festival, and it was just like, I mean, just
Wow.
blatant racism towards the Native Americans there. Sorry, Montana.
Sorry, Montana.
Yeah.
Poor
Sorry
Montana.
for just
Montana.
speaking for the entire state, saying you're all racist. But there was Byron Bowers went that year, and he's black, and there was another black guy, I forget his name, and they kept mixing the two, and then he would just be out, and people would think he was one of the baseball players on the team there.
Wow.
Like, 'cause there's no black people in Montana at all. Yeah.
But it seems like, like, I like that you were like, it's not all Southern people. I think you're trying to do like a different accent.
It's
for
Northern
that,
people
like,
too.
Ignorant American.
Yeah, I feel bad about it because you're like,
No, because like it is the common thing. And, like, I
Yeah,
do it.
but people laugh over here too. They love it.
Yeah, you can do it as well. I
Trap.
can fucking turn up the Australian accent.
Yeah,
like,
Is
you
that
know.
is that more of an ignorant accent, like people who generally speak that with that much twang?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Like in
Okay.
Australia, it's accurate just because like the Australian accent is purely education based.
Okay.
There's no class, there's no wealth to it. It's just like how far you went along in university is how strong your accent is.
Yeah.
And like the inverse of that. Like if you went further, your accent's weaker, and typically, yeah, if you're less educated, you're probably more racist.
Okay.
I feel pretty comfortable saying that.
Okay.
So
yeah.
what should I do if I want to increase my hop?
Your hop.
How do I
Like,
hop?
your
Let's get
hustle.
some hop tips.
Oh.
I mean,
Like Muggleton wakes up. Don't let these track pants. These track pants are
He-
to throw you off.
He does lure you into a false
Yeah,
sense,
he's
like,
like,
he's the most
nah,
sort of
man,
chilled. He looks like he smokes a lot
I'm
of
gonna
weed.
go. Yeah,
but-
exactly. He's like,
but
I
he
don't
doesn't.
smoke
and he
weed, I
makes
wanna
you
make
think
that
you can
very
slack
clear.
off.
He's
Yeah.
a
Weed
go-getter.
is
He's like, oh, I'm gonna go home
Yeah.
and watch Rick and Morty, and you're like, yeah, so will I. And he's
Yeah.
like,
I mean, I can't believe I'm giving Americans tips on self-belief, but that is the main thing. I just kind of came in here like high, like that. I'd learned that.
How old
from-
are you?
I'm 30. I learned that from going to America and like talking to comedians there, and like if you're humble, then like you'll get chucked into like the open mic jungle, and like you're just trapped in there. But if you go in like, hello, I'm a professional, give me the proper shit, then you'll be given it.
well,
and
I
if you
definitely,
succeed-
yeah, okay, I definitely did learn that. I learned that through living in LA, and there's a lot of obnoxious people there, but a lot of great people there. But I did learn that, and I did translate that a little bit into. There's an element where you have to pull yourself off of those circuits, definitely.
Yeah. You have to be willing to say no to stuff. Like when I first
Yeah,
came
yeah,
here,
yeah.
there was 6 months of me not working very much.
How
'Cause
long
I-
have you been going?
About 7 years.
Wait, what stuff are you saying no to?
Like just like open mic stuff, or like just like kind of like this unpaid thing that's got no progression.
I
Oh,
believe
right.
in
Oh,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
believe you have to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I
you
learned
have-
that the hard way
Yeah, you
'cause
sort
I
of
was
have to
trying-
tell people.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not doing
Well,
that.
you got to classify yourself, and then you got to back yourself to pass the trial. Like that's like the main thing. It's like if you get given that 10,
You got to get the trial.
I've fucked
That's
up.
what I tell everyone.
I've fucked up 2 opportunities since I've been here. The rest have been fine.
What's
Yeah.
that? Our friendship, and what's the other one?
Well, that was just both with you, actually.
Oh,
First the
our
mug and the
friendship, and then
second-
the second chance I gave you.
Yeah. Double.
No,
double
but-
bomb for Russell.
Yeah, like I think when I first moved over here, I was the first time I really had to make a living. I was doing colleges in America, and then I would use the money, and when it would run out, and I was like, okay, I actually can't. I need to get something going, and so I just made myself. I said, instead of doing open mics, I'm gonna just go to a comedy club 3 nights a week, just be there. And
Right.
then that led to finally getting a thing. And that's why I tell people now, I go, yeah, Britain's got a really good system, but you have to physically get yourself to the other one. They're not going to like pick you out of the open mic circuit. That's why I tell people, I go, dude, stop doing these like open spots.
Yeah.
But I think for some people, they subconsciously know if I stop though, I'm not going to get I'm not going to do well at the 10 and I have nothing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So,
Well,
and if you have fun doing that, then do that. I mean, and live your
it's
life.
just
have
that
fun.
thing. You got to kind of, I had to cop just like 6 months of like, basically before Edinburgh last year, I got like tour support, which helped me just pay rent. And then
Who?
an Australian guy,
Okay.
Alex Williamson. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate it. But like, yeah. And then I just had to wait because I'd like pass all my trials on the first 3 months, pick up like little scraps of paid shit, and then got paid stuff properly post Edinburgh. But that said, I was still like so poor for like the first 6 months of this year.
Daniel
Were you
Muggleton
as much
shows
of a
up.
go-getter before you had a fiance?
Yes.
Okay.
I just in Australia, like there's nothing there. Like
Yeah.
so I like built a lot of stuff in Australia that's like kind of kept going since I left.
Just like the
Like, I did-
Muggleton?
Mug and Kettle Comedy. That's what it was called with this guy Sam Kettler. Clever.
Yeah, not
but
paper cup comedy. No, but I'm not like I'm holding on to a grudge. I'm gonna remember that for the rest of my life.
Aren't you going to be glad that the planet will be alive long enough for you to keep bringing this fucking thing up? So, thank you. That was clever. But yeah, so like that was the first sign up on the night open mic in Australia that we started, and now there's one of those every night of the week in Sydney.
Yeah.
And then like I started doing like a thing like the Knitting Factory that I just host every week, and then people kind of doing 10, and like all this stuff was like quite revolutionary at the time, and it's like
People
kind of
learn it
grown.
later.
I
You're a
mean-
go-getter. We're all go-getters.
Oh,
Yeah, we
definitely.
hustle.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm like, well, I'll get it if I don't have to go that far. But like,
Very strong.
Stay getter.
yeah.
I will,
Like,
I'll,
yeah,
I'll
throw
get
it,
whatever
throw
you
it
want
over
to
here.
bring
I'll
me.
get it. You know, like, oh, I didn't get it. Someone like Dan. Oh, there goes Muggle.
We should wrap up. Just one question I always ask everybody: if you didn't live in London, where would you live? Any city in the world, doesn't need a professional aspect. Just where would you like to live in terms of lifestyle? What's your favorite bit?
It's Paris.
Paris.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just love Paris. I'm
Oh,
such
man.
a typical basic bitch for that reason. Like it's just.
So basic to like Paris.
It is. It's it's such a like every girl in America loves Paris.
It's very Sex and the
Really?
City.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you'd asked me a year ago, I would have said Prague. In the Czech
Really?
Republic. Absolutely love it. If you haven't been there, it is phenomenal. It is like a beautiful city, and it's also like extremely cheap. Like it's amazing. But after going home over the summer, I would live in where do they live? My parents live in Arizona, in Queen Creek, Arizona. I would live there and hang
Really?
out at my parents' house with my brother and his kids and just hang out all day. Loved it.
This is good. It was a
Wow.
good time. And what about in the UK? If you didn't live in London, where would you go?
And my sister and her kids.
Sister and kids. Well, I mean, we know who the favorite is now. But like
Well, they live in California, so they'd have to move to Arizona.
I'd live in Edinburgh.
Edinburgh,
Yeah.
me too. I reckon. I think Edinburgh is the business. I
It's-
really.
Oh, you
like
said
it.
city in Britain?
Yeah, in the UK,
Yeah.
outside of London.
Oh, outside London.
Yeah, no
That's
London.
So, well, that's, I mean, all right, what would my second choice be? Edinburgh, really? I mean, after the
think so.
festival, it's
It
like
would
a
either
ghost
be
town.
Edinburgh or Brighton. But yeah, but it's gorgeous. But
I don't
yeah,
like
just like it. I
Brighton.
like-
Brighton
have you
bugs
been-
It
me.
is magical. Brighton bugs me a little
Why?
bit.
Just the
Why?
like the blue hair
Get-
like
oh, sorry.
alternative.
Okay. The gay.
So I thought we were going somewhere else. It's the Union Jack.
Why does it bug you?
Homophobic power.
It
Russell Hicks.
like it doesn't bug me that much actually. It bugged me when I first moved because because I'm from San Diego and we have places like that and they just I can't even explain it. It's just something about that atmosphere. Just
That's what I
that
really
that
like
beachy.
about it. It really reminds me of like San Francisco because it's not quite.
But San Francisco, no, it doesn't remind me of San Francisco. It reminds me of there's this place called Ocean Beach in America and in San Diego, and it's just dirty. And you know what I mean? And everyone's like we're going to the head shop and get the fucking some poster with Grateful Dead bears. I don't know.
Yeah, I bet there's like places right outside of Brighton that are like what Brighton used to be that are better. And like Brighton's just become the like St. Mark's Place or the Venice Beach of.
Yeah.
Brighton grows on you though, because like I used to think that, and now it's kind of like it more. There's some cool like little shops to get trinkets and whatnot, videos.
I love trinkets.
I
No,
love
I
a
hate
trinket.
trinkets. I actually
Like
hate trinkets.
videos and shit. I mean, like there's like comic book shops there and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've good
So where would it
vintage
be?
stores.
We got.
Whoa, where would I live? Oh, sorry.
We got a.
Ooh, okay, sorry. God, I would really love to live in some kind of like. I would like. You know what I would do?
Mm-hmm.
Can I and like I can get like a pretty big house.
Yeah, bro.
I'd go to Cornwall.
Cornwall.
And get a big house on the like, and no one near me. I don't really. Me and my girlfriend talk about that all the time. Like I don't like when I see a house in this country that's connected to a house.
Yeah.
Well, that's bullshit.
Right,
What is the point of that? That's not a house.
No.
The whole point of
terrorists.
the house. I don't want to hear bleed from some. I don't want to be connected to your house.
Yeah.
Wide open space. So yeah, I would go to Cornwall, dude, and I would just do nothing, man. Literally do
I
nothing.
think isn't that such an American thing, just knowing what a separate house feels like?
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah,
come here and
I
you're like,
know.
why are we attached to other people?
I know. I'm like,
There's no space, that's why.
In Australia, we've got so much space that when you're attached, it's actually very cultured. Like you feel pretty special. I
Yeah.
lived like in a terrace back in Sydney before I moved, and it was like, yeah, fucking check out our cool house is attached to 2 other houses. That was like a point of
Yeah.
pride. Yeah. Whereas like we got nothing but space, dude. You want a veranda? You fucking get a veranda. Do you want to go all the way around? Fuck yeah. Call it a Queenslander. All right, that has got very Australian. Don't worry about it. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for coming. Maria, where can people find you?
MariaShehata.com.
Anything to plug?
It'll be on my website.
Beautiful. MariaShehata.com. And Russell?
Yeah, just Google it. You Google me.
Russell Hicks?
Yeah, Russell Hicks.
But you're on Instagram now.
I've got Instagram now, and
What is it?
hey, you know what? Content is king. As you know, I'm just gonna sell out now completely.
Yeah, do it,
I'm gonna be
please.
that guy. I was sitting next to someone on the like I've been on Instagram now. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then fucking sitting next to a like 15-year-old girl on Instagram and on the tube, and I just was like, this will never be a thing I like. A 36-year-old man shouldn't be on Instagram, but anyway, at Russell Hicks with 2 S's at the end.
They're all moving to TikTok anyway, or whatever that
I know,
shit's called.
dude.
Yeah,
I am thinking.
You're on the
Hey,
TikTok?
let's whisper so that no one sees this, even though it's being podcasted. Let's fucking get on TikTok before everyone else.
I tried. I downloaded it. And I
What
was
do we
like,
do?
wanna
I don't
die.
know. It looks
I can't get
horrible.
It looks so awful.
It's short videos.
It's
Yeah.
for people who went, hey, I wish Instagram was dumber.
Yeah.
I wish it were dumber. I hate all of it.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. I mean, content is king. I'm trying so hard to be a good comedian these days, but like,
Yeah.
fuck all that
I
shit.
hadn't
It's
heard
so
of TikTok.
stupid.
And I had a meeting with this like LA agent guy, and he was like, "You on TikTok?" And I was like,
Oh my god.
"What?"
Dude, because why are we trying to sell ourselves to 12-year-olds? Why are they the
Because
tastemakers?
in
Right.
6 years we'll have a career. Yes, long game. Long game.
No.
No?
No, they're going to grow up and thank me. I seriously think, like, they're going to grow up and go, okay, you know what? Yeah. Like, because I think, like, we were all into stuff like Adam Sandler movies and stuff like that. And you don't really age with that. You go, oh, yeah, I used to like that.
But you
It
still
doesn't go
watched
with you.
100% Fresh on Netflix, didn't you? Come on.
What's
You
100% Fresh?
His latest special.
Um,
Sandler's latest. You
was
must
it
have
good?
watched it.
I
I
heard it was
watched
good. I
clips
didn't
of
watch
it,
it.
and
It
I
was-
dealt with people, you know, people being like,
I'm not an
really-
Adam Sandler fan, but I heard it was good.
I really did like it. All right, guys, we're finishing the podcast. The way
Wow.
we finish it is you guys say cheers,
I just stuck
mate.
it to Adam Sandler. Good move.
You say cheers, mate, at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
Cheers, mate. I was thinking about my.
That was beautiful
Poor career
work. All right,
decision,
jerk
Adam.
offs until next week. Catch you later. Cheers. The Union Jackoff with Daniel Muggleton.